It's like it's my kimono dress, but it has the moths on it. But then I also felt like my Buffalo Bill dancing in front of a mirror kimono thing going on. Anyway, let's go Silence of the Lambs today. Let's give that a little bit of a theme. Now, did anybody else get a vibe that was like, instead of doing an end credit scene like Marvel does, they said, do you want to know what, we're just gonna call this a deleted scene and let it go out on the internet later? Which I think is smart to do. I'm not hating on that. I'm just saying. I think that's why. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Remember to subscribe, it really helps me out a lot. Welcome to all the new people. Let me know what you want to hear me talk about. But right now we're going to talk about this is going to be more of a discussion. You saw my reaction to the deleted Joker scene. Now let's discuss it. And I finally am not just not speculating, but if you've been one of my day oneers, you know that I bring up Hannibal Lecter all the time. He's my favorite character of all time. I've read that book series a million times. I've watched the movies a million times. I love this character. One of my favorite quotes of all time is, being smart spoils a lot of things, doesn't it? The second we got the little sprinkling of the Joker we got in the movie, when he's in the cell next to Riddler, I immediately, in my spoiler review, and I think, yeah, no, it's definitely in my spoiler review, it wouldn't be in my spoiler review, obviously, I talk about this. Hannibal Lecter, if you don't remember, in Silence of the Lambs, the guy Miggs in the cell next to him does something disrespectful to Clarice, and he don't like that. And obviously he's in a cell. He doesn't make him do something to himself. He convinces him and gets in his head so bad that this guy chews through his wrist. That's what happens, and he dies. And it's like, geez. And it's like, that's how smart and how manipulative and how Hannibal Lecter can get into somebody's head. And so the second we had this, like, we're right next to each other in cells and he's gonna be talking to him and stuff, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, this is a serious Hannibal Lecter situation, like for real, like he's gonna be able to convince him of stuff. And I've been saying that I do not want them to cram Joker down our throat. Do not give him to us too fast. You can show him in the next movie, but let's focus on Mr. Freeze and the Penguin, main man Penguin. Leave your penguins in the comments. You know what I mean? I would rather see sprinklings of the Joker here and there. Have him be a part of it, but not the main part of it. Have him be the main part of it in the third one. And I want to see Penguin mob versus Joker gang for who really runs Gotham. That's what I want. I just don't want them to rush this character, and I just don't want to jam down our throat. I want it done right. And DC, and we all know this, Marvel, you got a villain problem. DC, you got villains for days, and not just Joker, like, and you can use them, so use them. If you've read Red Dragon, or seen Red Dragon, or Manhunter, which is Red Dragon with a different name, but is a movie that scarred me for life and caused some of my worst fears, and me and my sister still have an inside joke of, but how did he know about the Jacoby's cat? Will Graham, the Batman, is the character who catches Hannibal Lecter. At first, we do not really know why. Of course, books, we have inner monologues, we have all that stuff, so we don't really know how he caught Hannibal Lecter until he tells you. And then I think in the movie, they might go off rip showing him catching Hannibal Lecter. But when it's the same thing as Silence of the Lambs. He goes to talk to him about helping him catch a serial killer. But we find out that instead of Clarice, it's the guy who actually caught Hannibal Lecter, and he is disturbed throughout the book, and I don't know if they showed as much in the movie, but I'm sure they do, but it starts to bother Will that he thinks like these killers, and he thinks like these serial killers, and that's why he's so good at his job. So he starts to believe he might not be that great of a guy. He's like, why can I think like these disturbing, messed up people? He goes to Hannibal Lecter for help to catch the Tooth Fairy, which is this guy who's doing very messed up things. Tears in the eyes. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's very disturbing. Don't throw on Red Dragon for kicks. Like, it's gross, it's scary, there's lots of disturbing stuff. If you're gonna read it, very disturbing stuff. And Hannibal Lecter is taunting the shit out of him. I'll leave the link to the scene in the movie of them going back and forth when they're talking, and you tell me if it feels familiar, because like I said, watching the Batman and getting the little scene of Joker and Riddler that we got, I was like, Hannibal Lecter shit. And then we got this, and I was like, oh no, this is straight up Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter shit, and I love it. The Joker is taunting him, saying, you wanted the same things to happen to these people. You wanted them to get what they deserved. You're so full of it. You're full of bullshit, Batman. You know you wanted that, and that starts to really get to him. Shoving the file through the slot, I was like, oh man, I love it. I love it. This is where I'm going though with the being able to get in people's heads, being convincing. I'm not talking smack about any other Joker we've had before. Not Heath Ledger, not Jack Nicholson, I'm not. What I'm saying though is we haven't really had a Hannibal Lecter level of intelligence Joker. And I think that is a very cool concept if that's what it is. Like, maybe he's not super smart, but maybe he is, because it looks like he's able to, like, he's very manipulative, yada, yada, yada. But I think that would be very cool if we had this Joker that it's like, no, you're crazy. Same thing, Hannibal Lecter, you're eating people. You're crazy, but you're still super smart. And I think that this Joker, I feel like Heath Ledger's Joker, especially, like, yeah, he had a gang, but that was out of fear. Like, he shows up and he's like, we're gonna have tryouts, you know? Like, you know, that's like out of fear. They don't want to follow him. They're going, what choice do we have? You know what I mean? So if this Joker is Hannibal Lecter-esque and has this high level of intelligence, he might be able to he'll be able to convince regular people with sane minds to come into his gang. He'll be able to convince crazies easily to come over to his side. And I want them to use their villains. Mainly, I just wanted to talk about Hannibal Lecter. The other part that I really appreciated was, just like with Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter, we know that they have a serious history together, like a long history together. They know each other very well, and they know what each other is about. And I really like that dynamic between the Batman and Joker, where obviously they know each other, and they know what each other is about. And I really love that back and forth, that it's like, we are sprinkling in, get to the point, but we are also saying, I'm talking shit. You know, I'm talking shit by saying, like, I know this about you, you know this about me, and it's this, like, playing chess in your head against somebody, not punching them in the face. Hannibal Lecter is sending Christmas cards to Will Graham's house. How did he get his address? Super creepy, but Will Graham knows how to handle it, and he's like, fine, yeah, and it takes a minute. Same thing with Batman. It's taking him a minute, but you are wearing him down. Batman's going after the Riddler. Will Graham is going after the Tooth Fairy. Like, he follows the moon, so it's like a lunar cycle that he follows with his pattern of killing, and the Riddler's got his game going, so it's like they're both on a time frame. There are points, though, in the conversation where each party does get irritated and they're over it. Hannibal Lecter is over it when Will Graham says, layman's terms, I believe, and then Hannibal Lecter's like, oh, layman's terms, like, so how did you get me? If you need something broke down to layman's terms and you're so smart, why did you catch me? Because I'm smarter than you. And then he's like, you got careless. Joker and Batman start getting irritated with each other, but they are still taking those personal digs at one another. They both ask for pictures, and both are reluctant to give the criminal pictures because they're like, that's weird. I don't know if you get off on that. I don't know about that. Paper is brought up in both conversations. Hannibal Lecter starts to write to the Tooth Fairy on toilet paper. It's a whole thing. So it's like, there's definitely a pull here, and I love it. That both Hannibal and the Joker toy with them and are like, they look at the case files almost like they're artwork, where Batman and Will Graham look at them like, oh my God. But that's what I mean here. The Joker is saying, no, you wanted this to happen to them. You are cool with this. Stop acting like you're not. And Hannibal Lecter is getting in Will's head, and Will Graham starts thinking like, maybe I'm not so great because I shouldn't be able to think these crazy thoughts. Because if you know Red Dragon, you know that is very, very disturbing. I'm telling you that it's that disturbing. Like, especially if you read it, it's extremely disturbing and scary. And yeah, if I could think that way too, and be a step ahead of somebody like that, I would think something was wrong with me too. Joker says he knows who he is. Hannibal knows who they are, and he's just like playing a game with them. Even some of the dialogue Joker uses wronged him, and like the descriptions. If you go back and watch that scene of Signs of the Lambs or Red Dragon, but particularly Signs of the Lambs, when he starts talking about Buffalo Bill, and he starts saying he's this, look here, look for trans surgery that people denied because that's not what he is, and he thinks he is, but he's not. So he's dropping hints, but not giving her the full picture. Will Graham, he straight taunts. That's why when people are saying, is someone trying to get in? Please don't do this while I'm talking about Red Dragon. Did you guys hear that? That was weird, right? I'm gonna go lock that. The reason I am using the comparison to Will Graham and not to Clarice is because with Clarice, Hannibal likes Clarice. He wants her to succeed. Will Graham, he's like, fuck you. He doesn't want Will Graham to catch another bad guy like him. He doesn't. And Clarice, he does. He's cheering for Clarice. The relationship between Clarice and Hannibal is very different from Will Graham and Hannibal. But the scene from Silence of the Lambs where he gives the rundown about Buffalo Bill is very similar to the way the Joker gives the rundown about the Riddler. It's also very similar to the Red Dragon, but not as obvious. You know what I mean? In the book it is, because like I said, the book is, you get those, it's always different. They're different mediums. You get more descriptions, you get the inner monologue, I think a murderer is going to kill me. I'm not expecting many people to even watch this video or like it that much, but I'm just like, no. The second I saw that Joker and Riddler cell by cell, I was like, Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal Lecter, this is some Hannibal Lecter shit. This would be a really cool way to go about the Joker. Like I said, I don't want him crammed down our throats, but we haven't had that Joker yet. A super smart one. Like I said, crazy. Hannibal Lecter's crazy. You shouldn't want to eat people. But still, extremely intelligent. So it's like, we haven't had that yet. I'm not saying they're not smart by any means. What I'm saying is they're not Hannibal Lecter smart. The Joker using the term, he's a fan of yours. That, the Tooth Fairy refers to himself in Red Dragon as his biggest fan, to Hannibal Lecter, and he starts using it with Will Graham. Once we start getting into that personal stuff between Batman and Joker, and when Joker's like, it's upsetting you, it's bothering you, it's upsetting you, why is this one getting to you? I really, and Batman starts to get irritated and angry. I really liked that. He's getting irritated because he's going, I'm the world's greatest detective, and he sees something that I don't see. Same thing with Will Graham. It's irritating both Will Graham and the Batman that they need to go and talk to these degenerates to begin with. They thought they were smart enough. They thought they were great at their jobs, and now we need their help, and it pisses them off. With Will Graham, we knew what happened between him and Hannibal Lecter. And through the dialogue, we know, too. With their dialogue, we don't know exactly. Hannibal says, like, through court and this and that, and in the movie, we get to see what happens, and yada, yada, yada. But, like I've been saying about this Batman, this is a younger Batman that's what the Batman was all about, was he's a young Batman, he's only been doing this for a couple years, and now he's figuring out what Gotham needs him to be. And I really liked that, and it's not just kicking the shit out of people. It's only in, like, the last minute of the deleted scene that Batman gets irritated and flustered, and it takes a minute to get there, but I also feel like that's in character because he's a younger Batman. And we don't know what went on between these two. He used that, when the Joker used the line of, "You're afraid he makes you look soft." This was like a punch in the gut, like, oh, you just called Batman soft and it's getting to him. I do like that he was throwing that out there. He's like, he's a righteous masked man too, and it's getting to you, isn't it? And then even when Batman rips up the case file, he's like, "You're wasting my time." Like, that's, Clarice does that, Will Graham does that, but like I said, there's very heavy comparisons here, and I've been saying that since I saw the movie, where I was like, oh no, they're gonna make him like Hannibal Lecter, he's gonna be able to, oh, he's gonna get into the Riddler's head while their cells are next to each other, oh, it's gonna be sweet. This was a deleted scene, so we don't know exactly what we're gonna get, you know what I mean? But the thing with Will Graham and Hannibal is that Will Graham knows to flip it on Hannibal Lecter, but like I said, their history is probably very different, and he knows to go, no, I just wanted to see if you were smarter than the guy that I'm trying to catch. And at first that gets Hannibal, but later on he flips that on Will. And so I'm very interested to see, like, how, I mean, obviously this wasn't used for the Batman. Once Will Graham calls out Hannibal, though, that's when Hannibal calmly and collectively tells him, this isn't even information from the outside world. You all know how, I mean, if you know who Hannibal Lecter is, you know how his cell is. He's underground in a cell. He has no access to nothing. And he just goes off of Will's appearance. And he's like, "You're awfully tan. You must have moved to either here or here. You smell like this, so you must be around this or this. Your hands have calluses on them, so obviously you stopped being a cop. Why'd you come back to do this?" And it's like, whoa, dude. And that's when Will starts getting pissed off. And is like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm done with this shit. Wait, I wasn't planning on really doing this video. So this is just me kind of nerding out with the comparisons between Red Dragon and Hannibal Lecter and this Joker and the Batman, and I really like it, and I hope they do more with that. Like I said, he's still crazy. Hannibal Lecter's crazy, the Joker's crazy, but we haven't had a super high intelligence one that's like, no, I am super smart. Even when Will pulls the same stunt Batman does, where he's like, I'm out of here, and the Joker goes, yeah, yada yada yada, and gets him at the end. Same thing. Hannibal Lecter stops him and says, well, I'll do it if you do X, Y, and Z. So this is just me nerding out. So this is just me nerding out of a character that I love and another character that I love a lot. So it's very cool. It's a lot of characters I love. I love Hannibal Lecter. I love Will Graham. I love Batman. I love the Joker. Like, you know what I mean? So it's very cool. And when I'm sitting in a theater going, oh my God, Hannibal Lecter, and then we get this, and I'm like, oh my God, it's literally that scene almost. And I'm not talking smack. I'm not saying like you're copying. And if anybody knows anything, you know that stories are normally retold. It's just, how can we creatively do it again? And so the audience doesn't realize that they're rewatching something. That's why, like, Romeo and Juliet gets redone all the time. But it's not always called Romeo and Juliet. You know what I mean? It's the guy from the other side of the tracks and we can't be together. That's just another take on Romeo and Juliet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not saying that they ripped off of Red Dragon or Silence of the Lambs. I'm saying this is a cool way to go about it. And if you want to see something very similar, go check that out. It might give you an indication of the direction they are going to go with this Joker. Imagine if Hannibal Lecter, if you know the character, imagine if Hannibal Lecter really put his mind into running a gang. He could do a lot of damage. He put it into eating people. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I'm not just saying that the Joker just runs a gang, but I'm saying personally that's what I want in the third movie, not the second one. Joker, Penguin, we're going at it, and then probably have to team up to square up against Batman. I don't know, whatever. But I would really like having these opposing villain crews going at it for the control of Gotham. And then versus Batman, too? That's sweet. So yeah, Hannibal Lecter, Buffalo Bill, the Tooth Fairy, Red Dragon, Will Graham, it's all very similar. And if you want to, like I said, if you've never seen Red Dragon, if you've never read Red Dragon, give it a shot. I love it. If you like Silence of the Lambs, you'll really like it a lot. But it's very disturbing. It's very creepy. I'm just saying, if you're not in the right headspace, maybe don't watch the movie or read the book, because it's, like I said, it's a lot. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Remember to comment. I'm shocked at the views I got on my reaction, and I'm shocked at the amount of subscribers that came over. So thank you for coming over, and whatever you guys want to hear me talk about, I'll talk about. But what do we have lined up? More Harry Potter. Shoot, what else is coming? Halo. We're always talking Game of Thrones at some point. We have things planned, right? I'm on Twitch. I play Final Fantasy. Oh, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts stuff. We have tons of Kingdom Hearts stuff. We have tons of Final Fantasy stuff, okay? We got tons of stuff coming out. We have Sonic 2 coming out. We got tons of stuff over here. We're small, but we're awesome. So everybody stay safe out there.